Alright, so this is competitive collection. A competitive collection is not necessarily just cards you have to build decks with, but a collection of cards that you would tech, or you might even end up main decking in a lot of your decks. They end up becoming staples in your deck strategies. That's mainly it. Is a collection of tech cards, like Firecracker, for example. Card really good. Pit, you can discard it during either player's turn to deal 1,000. So you can Firecracker for game. You can use this when you go into time. Hopefully you can, win the duel just by using this card's effect. It's a 4-star 1700, so that's pretty decent stats. It's a fire monster with 200 defense, so you can use Rekindling with it. So obviously, if you already have one in the graveyard, you pitch this one, deal 1,000, play Rekindle, bring both back in the overlay into a rank 4, or do some link play, or whatever you want to do. You'll be able to do. It's just a good card to have. It's common, so it'd be easy to get. Obviously, for me personally, a lot of my competitive collection cards are, mostly commons. Obviously stuff like Soul Charge, stuff like Right Hand, Magician's Right Hand or Magician's Left Hand. Good cards that you can use competitively. Waking the Dragon, of course. Performer Pal Seal Eel, something you can use as a side deck card or a main deck card. This is a pretty decent card. I just found it in my 10. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to get a couple more of these. Mainly because its pendulum effect is the part that I care about, which is when exactly one monster you control and no other cards is destroyed by battle, you can destroy this card, and if you do so, special summon that monster destroyed by battle in attack position, and if you do that, it cannot be destroyed by battle this turn, even if this card leaves the field. So it's like, oh, this is a decent card, especially the fact that this is a scale 3 and this is scale 5. Use these two together, you can you can pendulum summon level 4s. That's pretty good. They're 1 stars, so they could be searchable, and they're just pretty decent cards. Fish, and this one's a beast. It's an earth. Those details can matter, but the fact that you can have a card you can put in your pendulum zone, that if one of your monsters just so happens to die as a result of battle, you can use this to bring that monster back, and then that monster, as long as it's in attack mode, won't be able to die as a result of battle for the remainder of the turn. Is really awesome. Yeah. It's always good to have a monster that doubles as a spell. Like, I treat pendulum monsters, especially when they have pendulum effects, they're really useful as spells more than monsters. So to me, this is a spell card that lets me negate, a continuous spell card that lets me negate monster effects during my turn, which can be very, very useful, of course. And then you got, something that can be used during your opponent's turn. Either your turn or your opponent's turn, but more likely your opponent's turn. When your monster dies off battle, because your opponent summoned a monster stronger than yours, you can bring that monster back. Especially if the monster has a effect that when it's special summoned, it gets an effect. Good to have this. Especially if you're trying not to use stuff like Call Haunted or anything, you can substitute this for Call Haunted. And the fact that you can use it on your turn, awesome too, right? Especially if you're trying to get something to die as a battle on purpose. Like, imagine using this with Amazon's Swordswoman. You attack, she dies, use this to bring her back, then attack her again, and the second time she can't die. And your opponent is the only one taking damage because of Amazon's Archer's effect. So it has multiple uses. You can use this on gadgets. You get the idea. Summon Limit, Thunder Seahorse for deck denning. Summon Limit, and there's a whole bunch of other cards in here. Imperial Order, against decks that banish. A lot of these things would be obvious stuff. Regeki Break, Red Screen would be obvious stuff. Obvious like side deck cards. Just any cards in general. for more deck thinning. Creature swaps. You get the idea. I'm not gonna go through every card in here. Just gonna try to show that there's just some variety of cards that at any given moment I could use. Hainwada, I can use this against burn-based decks. Curry Photon is better. No, I don't have Curry Photon here. It is better because it can prevent OTKs and FTKs. This can only prevent FTKs, burn-based strategies. What is this? Okay, it's just my mail package basically. Just Curry Bandits, Magical Merchants, Light Swarm. Engines, deck cores. Let me grab a deck core over here. So I got my Yugioh core. Got the crawler core that I'm working on. I even got my ninja core. Stuff like that in general. I have my Pacifist, great card to always play. Like personally, I will play this in every deck. The thing is sometimes don't have space for it because I'm trying to use other stuff. But this is if I ever have space for it. Like there's not much I need in my deck because my deck, only needs 1 or 2 cards for it to go off. Then I can just take this in, and I got my little token for it. Okay, it goes, of course, more specific cards. Oof. Mid-breaker field, MSTs, of course. Okay, it goes full force virus. Definitely something to be played competitively. Any of the virus cards are competitive because the idea is to always have the advantage, and that's what you want. You want the advantage. So anything that gives you an advantage, anything that makes it harder for your opponent to win, those will be obviously classified as competitive cards. Mainly because these are the types of cards you'll use or strategies you'll use in the competitive scene because you're trying to win. Monsters that can't die by battle, but just so happen to be Earth Tuners. They just so happen to be warriors. All great stats. You start a win. Earth Tuner, like Notorious Beast. It's a warrior, searchable. Right? Lost Winds, really good card. Paleozoic traps, really good traps in general. Because one, they can be used as monsters when they come back from the graveyard. Threatening Roar, Stall for the Win. Pure on Wall, Mirror Force, basic stuff. Curse Seal can, shut down a certain deck, especially if the deck is a fusion-based deck and they only have 1 fusion spell. Use this on it, boom, just shut down the whole deck because they really needed that spell. Golden Match Rivalry, macros, obviously. The Mighty Appointed Red Lotus. Some stuff. This is a essentially solemn judgment or warning, whichever way you want to look at it. Yeah, it's more of a warning. But you tribute a wind spellcaster. You know what I mean? So if they create more wind spellcaster decks, then obviously this will have more use. But of course, Magic Specters is where it comes from, and Magic Specters can search it. More stuff, Fiendish. You get the idea, general purpose. I'm going to show you all my little spicy text in there. You just get the idea that that's what a competitive collection will consist of, is stuff that you see being playable for competitive play, not just stuff that you would just inherently just put into a deck to play. Like Seal Eel, for example. You can main deck it, you can play it as part of your deck's design if you want, but it's not something you have to have. It's a good card, but it's not something you have to have. So it's it's more of a side deck card, or it's just a meta card. It's a card it could be a spicy tech, and that's what a competitive collection will consist of. Is spicy techs. This is my extra deck 10. You see, I got a whole bunch of Exceeds. I got some Link monsters. I just got my Link Spiders today. I got 9 of them. They're common, which I prefer. And of course, you should have the attribute Link monsters. This is good to have just in case. because you can use a normal monster to make this, except a token, which sucks, but you can use a normal monster to make this, and it's a dragon link monster this win, so that could be relevant. Not at the moment, but it can be relevant, so it's worth having just in case. And it's so rare, it's cheap, so not a problem. It's better to have and not need it than to need it and not have it. The list goes on and on. A lot of these cards were useful at one point, but then they lost their usability because some stuff came out that were better. But sometimes you might need to go back to some of these old school cards, make them useful again. Could always make Ragnar Zero useful again. King Pharaoh Imp useful again. They can search out any reptile type monster. So if they come up with like some reptile hand traps, boom, this will be useful again. Fortune Tomb, good stall card, and it's recycle. It recycles your level 3s. Zen main always still has a use in any rank 3 decks. A lot of these rank 3s obviously were from like my Burning Abyss core. Any obscure monster that has a good effect, like Xavier or Urbellum, if you pull them off, you can do an Urbellum lock, similar to a Yugioh lock, because its effect is when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent while they have 4 or more cards in the hand, place one card from their hand on top of the deck, which means they're always drawing that same card. So you always guarantee they're not going to get anything new, they're just drawing the same card over and over again. And if they can't do nothing about it, because their hand is pretty bad, and they can't, set stuff, then you take advantage of that. Especially if you have a strategy like anti-spell frag and start some work, and you have this on the field, you can guarantee they're going to be stuck with cards in the hands, because they won't be able to set anything. Won't be able to set no spells and traps, that's for sure. So spells and traps will be stuck in the hand. But you gotta make it work. Of course, whole bunch. F.A. Dawn Dragster, great card. Negates spells and traps once per turn. And it's generic, so worth having. Pretty good synchro. It could always come back. It's like a tree-born frog. So that has some use. There's some new synchro support coming out, so these could be useful again. Yeah, I got a whole bunch. Quasars, never know when you're gonna go Quasar again. Has a great effect. Plus, it's a win condition myself, so it's worth keeping. Mistworm, you know what I mean? Trish, things of those natures worth keeping on to. Some generic level 4 synchros. Never know when you might need them again, or you might need them at all. 9 stars, 6. Yugioh. You get the idea. And then of course we get into the fusion section, where you have a lot of instant fusion targets. 3, look, Dark Zombie, Fire Pyro, Water Aqua, of course coming to protect fortresses for Cyber Dragon decks to use against them or with them. Of course, exterior, you can summon this thing with Wicked Dragon or any other method. It puts in work. Cybersaurus, it's a 5-star machine. This Earth that has relevancy once you use it in instant fusion. If you need a machine, 5-star machine, or an Earth non-tuner, it puts in work in that regards. And then of course Northern, it gets currently banned, but if it gets unbanned, then it'll be useful again, of course, so it's good to hold on to them. There is another 4-star water monster, Mud Dragon. I bought some, so I have more. So if I needed, because I did needed him for because he was a 4-star water, but then he was banned. Now I have a replacement for him with the Mud Dragon. So now I have a new 4-star water monster, this fusion. So that's good to have a replacement for Northern, but nice to get Northern back, because of course I would rather use Northern. But sometimes you gotta substitute. Sometimes you gotta make do with what you can make do with. And there's not much else. Anything else, I'm already using it in my decks. For competitive purposes. Always keep an eye on the meta. Always try to have the mighty on the clock, right? I like combining this with Nightmare Phoenix. So that way every turn I can kill stuff. And since this and Nightmare Phoenix are co-linked, they can't die by battle. So every turn, boom, 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 should be able to kill some stuff relatively easy with that strategy. Especially if I combine it with red screen, my opponent can't attack him and deal me damage. I can just boop, boop, keep picking off my opponent's monsters. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, keep track of the meta. You want to be set. You want to be ahead of the game. You want to make sure that whatever you're using can beat the meta. And it doesn't have to be meta to beat meta. Meta can always lose. They're just Yu-Gi-Oh cards. There's nothing special about meta decks that makes them immune to anything else that exists in this game. A meta deck can lose to a rogue deck, can lose to a fun deck. Meta decks aren't special. They're just what's currently popular among people who like to play the game. Mostly competitive players who don't want to, make something good. They just want something that they feel that already is good. And then they get into mirror matches and then side decking for those specific matchups to specifically beat those decks, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to beat those decks because they don't have a deck with a strategy that can just shut down any deck or just beat any deck. They have to have a deck that beat only one deck. So they have to have a deck that can only beat Goki or can only beat Sky Strikers or something like that. Or at least just be generically good, where it's like, oh, this can special summon a couple monsters and potentially OTK. And then their side deck is all about, all the cards necessary to beat what's meta. And then that's it. It's like, I prefer to have my deck capable of beating the meta instead of having a side deck to beat the meta. It's like, meta decks are just like any other deck. So why don't you have your deck built to just beat them in general? I have stuff like this, and then, proxy instant fusion. I gotta get some more, but special summon this first. When you go first, because you need no monsters to be in field, right? Special summon that instant fusion, or Cybersaurus, or Panzer Dragon. It should be in here, right? Panzer Dragon, and overlay the two, right? Nova Infinity. There. Just that one simple play. I'm able to beat the meta. You know what I mean? Because again, meta decks are still Yu-Gi-Oh decks. They still have monsters with effects, right? They still have spells with effects. They have traps with effects, and they summon. This can't negate summons, but it can negate monster effects, spells, and traps. So it can beat Gokis, Trick Stars, and Sky Strikers. Sky Strikers, mostly spell. Trick Stars, also Ultra Guys, mostly trap. If you think of reincarnation, mainly, right? And then Gokis, mainly monsters trying to, extra link or just trying to get a big strong link board with a whole bunch of effects. This can stop at least one of the three things. Not just going to flat out beat those decks just with this one card by itself. Obviously, you got to combine it with other cards and play abilities and making sure that you make the right decision at the right time. But what I'm saying is something this simple, something this budget or whatever you want to call it, or rogue or whatever. Just this little simple strategy right here is more than enough for you to beat the meta. You still need your experience and skills to make that strategy successful. You're not just going to summon infinity and then just magically your opponent's going to scoop. No. You're still going to have to activate its effect at the right time, have other cards to back it up, and so on and so forth. Got to be good at the game. Having some nice little spicy tag. Obviously, now I'm main decking this. Got to buy some more. But this, was part of my concept-wise was part of my competitive collection. So I finally bought some, and now I'm using it. still gotta proxy the rest of this deck and make a list and buy the cards I need from TCG Player. Need some more Globe Bulbs, Giant Rexes, some Magical Mallets, Recall, Gold Sarks, and some Fusions, Jet Synchron. And that's the end of the video.